She came to Dominican Republic to visit, went into preterm labor the night before she was supposed to leave back to New York, and she never left. Now she's raising 3 daughters here, building a business, and starting over in a completely different life. Today, I'm sitting down with a Dominican woman from the diaspora whose story is a little different from what you usually hear. She was born and raised in Brooklyn and the Bronx, started her first business when she was 18 years old, and built her life in New York. But everything changed when she came to the Dominican Republic on a visit with her husband and never went back. What started as a trip turned into life here after an unexpected moment forced her to make a decision that most people wouldn't. Now she's raising 3 daughters here in DR, multiple businesses, and navigating life as a mom and an entrepreneur in a completely different environment. So today we're going to talk about her journey from New York to the Dominican Republic, what's it really like raising kids here, and how she turned some of the hardest moments in her life into purpose. So let's welcome our guests. Welcome to the channel, Kyrie. Glad to have you here.
Thank you. I'm glad I'm here too.
Do you get any type of, now that everybody knows about Kyrie Irving, do anybody kind of associate your name with that? I wouldn't have never thought it was pronounced Kyrie.
No, but that's the way that I learned so people can understand it, especially English-speaking people, because it's really Katie.
Mm-hmm. It's really Katie. With an R?
Katie.
Oh,
like
Katie.
my mom pronounces the R.
Ah, Katie. So
but that's how I'm able to get people to understand it in English.
So it's Kyrie.
Yes.
In English. So what do people call you here?
Katie.
Katie. Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah. Don't talk to me as I'm an American. Talk to me as a Dominican.
Okay.
I want to learn the Dominican way to say it. All right. So you were born and raised in Brooklyn, and then you moved to the Bronx. What was it like growing up in New York as a Dominican?
I loved it. I just always felt like I didn't identify as a Dominican or an American, because in the States, I'm not considered American, I'm Dominican. But when I would visit DR, it's like, tú no eres dominicana, tú eres una gringa. So I grew up with that. And there was a moment in my life where it was like, okay, so what am I? Like, I would ask myself that.
Right. We all know that New York especially is filled with Dominicans.
Right.
So what does it really mean to be like a Dominican in New York?
I don't really know, because a lot of people would tell me I don't look Dominican. But to me, I come from a family where we all look different.
Right.
So what does a Dominican truly look like?
That's true.
I felt like I was growing up in a household where we woke up and we were listening to merengue, habían plátano, puerto. So I was a full on Dominican.
Right.
My mother had a salon next to a bodega. So I felt Dominican. And to the people in the block where I lived, yes, I was Dominican. But once I went to school, it was like, oh, you're not Dominican. Where are you from? I'm Dominican.
Right. I don't know why they would say you don't look Dominican. You look Dominican.
I think I look Dominican too.
Whatever that looks like. You know what I'm saying?
And even here, it happens a lot. They're like, tú no pareces dominicana. I'm like, ¿y cómo se ve una dominicana? You know? Like, describe it.
So did you feel connected to your culture like through your household, like your parents, or did you feel it like from the outside?
No, mainly from my household.
Okay.
And I feel like I was always proud to be Dominican. And I have nothing against Puerto Ricans. Like, my closest friends are Puerto Ricans. But people always tell me, oh, you look Puerto Rican. And I was like, no, I'm Dominican. Like, I wanted people to see it.
Right.
But it came from my household.
It came from your household. So did you ever feel like you had to switch, like, who you were depending on where you were?
No, because I was also raised in a home where you are who you are, and you don't have to change who you are to basically make other people comfortable.
Right.
Like, just be yourself. So I never felt that, but I did question, like I mentioned before, what am I?
So you started your business right out of high school at 18. What made you take that leap so young?
My mother hired an event planner for my Sweet 16.
Okay.
I always used to watch David Totera, his wedding show, and I loved it. But I didn't know anyone that looked like me who did that type of work until my mother hired the event planner, and she was Dominican. So it was like, oh, I can do this.
Okay.
From the moment she started the process, and then once I knew like how much my mom paid, I was like, oh, I can do this. I like it, and I'm gonna make money.
So your first business was event planning?
Yes.
Okay. As an 18-year-old, how were you getting business as an event planner?
I started going to networking events. I would buy tickets, I would go to these events, and I was doing work for free for friends and family, so I can, start building a portfolio and also testing myself to see what I was capable of doing. And as I started going to these networking events, I started meeting other event planners, and if they couldn't take on an event, they'll refer me. And that's how I started getting business.
Where did that drive come from?
I would say my mother.
Yeah.
I would see, she had her salon basically my entire life, and I would see how she would wake up super early. By the time I woke up, she already had made breakfast. A lot of times she already had made food for when we got home from school in case she was busy at the salon. So I would really say from her.
Okay. At 21, you made a decision not to go back to college after having a conversation with your professor, with something that's really is not that common.
Yes.
What was going through your mind at that time?
So the class was at night. It was a night class. It was my only night class. And I'm a morning person. I like to do everything before 3 p.m. so I can enjoy and do whatever I want the rest of the day. So I hardly would show up to that class. I would only go whenever we had quizzes and exams. So when I took the final, he pulled me aside. He said, I want to give you an A+, but because of your attendance, I can't. And I was like, I understand that. I'm okay with that. And he told me, what do you want to do? Like, why are you in a business major? What is your goal? And I told him I want to become an event planner and have my own business. So I want to know a little bit so that I don't go into this, just knowing how to do event planning. And he suggested I take event planning courses. He told me, find someone that inspires you and you like their business model. And if they don't offer a class, offer them to become your mentor, that you will pay them. And what you will spend here, spend it there. What you're spending in books, he said, add everything up and offer it to that person. And I was pregnant with my first daughter.
Okay.
Nobody knew, my stomach was really small. So I said, you know what? I could do that because I completed high school, honor roll and everything, because I had to do it, not because I wanted to.
Right. Do you think making that decision gave you an advantage, or is some challenges people don't see that when you took that route?
There were a lot of challenges, but definitely for me, it was the best decision that I made because one, I'm not the typical learner. I have a different learning style than most people, and I also understood that. I was in school because that's just what my family did. My cousins, my older sister, they graduate high school, you go to college, that's the right thing to do. But I never felt like that was the route for me.
I'm the same way. I got a different learning style. It's mostly hands-on. It's not classroom setting at all.
And a lot of teachers and professors don't understand that.
Because they only have a one-track method of teaching.
Right.
Yeah. So you and your husband came to Dominican Republic just to see what it was like. Something happened during that trip. Can you walk us through that moment?
So they can understand. My family is from Santiago.
Okay.
And that wasn't an option for me to move here and live there.
Okay. Wow.
I felt like coming from a big city, it was going to be very difficult for me to adapt, and I would have probably ended up going back within the first year.
Okay.
My husband, who's from Santo Domingo, he felt like I couldn't adapt here because a lot of things were advancing, and I had only visited once, and I was about 19, 20 years old, and he kept telling me it's gonna look different. I think you will like it. So we made a trip. I was pregnant with our third daughter. Everything was fine. I had even went to the OB the day before to make sure I could fly back home, and my baby was fine. But the night before, when we were supposed to travel back to New York, I went into preterm labor where there was no way I could travel back home because of the pressure of the plane. I would automatically give birth.
Right.
So I had to stay here on bed rest. And in that moment, I understood that that was God's way of showing me that this was an option for me and my family. Because had I gone back, I probably would have delayed the move every time. In 3 months, in 4 months, and it would have possibly never happened, to be honest.
So what was going through your mind emotionally while that was happening?
The first thing that went through my mind was, they're gonna do a C-section on me here because I don't have insurance. If I'm being honest, that was the first thing. So they're gonna lay me on that table and they're gonna open me up, even if I don't need it. So I was very scared. I had a lot of fear. At the same time, I do believe in going with the flow and not trying to always have things work out how I plan. So I basically opened my heart and I said, you know what, if I'm meant to give birth here, that's the way that it's going to be. If I'm meant to live here, it's going to happen. And it was also very hard because my business was at its best moment.
Okay.
So I had to make a decision where you can give your family a better life, or you can continue in New York with your business, making money, great. But what was I going to offer my kids?
Right. So what initially made you want to come and move here, even for you guys to check it out? What was that process? I mean, why did you want to do that?
I didn't.
Oh, he wanted to.
He wanted to because he got to experience living here and going to school here.
Gotcha.
And he also had the experience in the States.
Yeah.
So he felt like overall here was better.
Right.
And he wanted his kids to have that, that experience that you don't get. The education here is very different, even the system and the way they do things.
Yeah, he's a smart guy.
Yeah, I hate to admit it.
I hate to admit it.
Yep.
You said that you took that as a sign that you should just stay here. What made you decide to actually follow that than to go back to something familiar?
Because I'm not scared to try new things, and I wholeheartedly believe that if you want your life to be different than what your parents' life was, you cannot follow everything that they did.
Right.
I had to make different decisions. From a very young age, I always knew what I wanted. I always knew the type of lifestyle I wanted to offer my kids. And it was also very important for me to be present in their life because my mother had a salon. So that meant that she was working all holidays, all the weekends. And she was always the last one to show up at gatherings. And while she was a great mom, that's something that I always noticed. And I would always wish like she was there first. So.
Right. So what was the adjustment like coming from New York to DR?
It was very difficult for me.
Because you didn't travel here like most of the Dominicans I speak to. They're like, I came every summer.
I did.
Said you did come every summer?
But to Santiago. Growing up, my mom would send me every summer. All my cousins, we would travel here and we would stay with my grandmother.
Okay.
But after I reached like a certain age that I could decide whether I wanted to come or not, I wasn't spending my entire summer here.
Okay.
And then my grandma started traveling to New York as well. So I didn't really feel a need to have to come here that often.
So what was that adjustment like then?
It was very hard. My first year here, I hardly went out.
And how long you been here now?
5 years.
5 years. So we running on the same?
Yeah.
Yeah, you came in what, 2021?
Yeah.
Okay.
In April 2021.
Oh man, a month after me.
It's been, my first year here was very difficult. Every other week I was ready to go back. I felt lonely. I didn't have friends. My family's in Santiago, which I didn't go over there often. They don't come here often. I had 3 small kids and 2 kids back to back. So traveling to Santiago wasn't ideal for me because it was like a hassle with 3 small kids.
Right.
Even if I have a nanny to help, it just, no. Like at my second year here, I remember one day I woke up and I said, I need to get out of here. I work out in this building. I do everything inside here.
Right.
So I signed up to Pilates so I could get out of the house.
Okay.
I started going to the salon weekly and I started meeting people.
Right. So you said that first year you was always wanting to leave. So what kept you from not leaving?
We put our oldest daughter in horse riding.
Okay.
She loves horses and she was little and she used to ask me to put her in horse riding when I lived in New York. And just putting her and seeing how happy she was, I remember like, I'm gonna take that from her.
Right.
And I didn't wanna do that. I wanted her to have that experience because 1, she's believing in herself. To me, that was enough. Like I had to write it out for her and then I started getting used to the lifestyle here too.
Right.
You have nannies the whole week, you have help at home, you're gonna go back and you got 3 small kids and it's just gonna be you and Jose in the house with them 3 kids. So the lifestyle kept me here.
Right. What do people in the US not understand about the life here in Dominican Republic?
It's not cheap. It is not cheap. A lot of people always tell me, oh, it's probably so much cheaper for you. And if I'm being honest, we have more expenses here than we did in the States.
You think so? Really?
Yeah. I didn't have a nanny in the States. I wasn't paying for school.
Okay.
So once you start adding all those things up,
Right.
it makes a difference.
Right.
And food is slightly cheaper, but it's not how people think because we're not in the campo,
Right.
you know?
Well, yeah. So basically, it depends on where you are. Because you
Exactly.
can live cheap here. I mean, you still can find places for $100, $200, depending on where
But
you
where?
go. You like say you may go to San Francisco, de Macorís, or San Pedro, Barahona.
Right.
But yeah, in the capital, she's right. It's
Yeah.
not that cheap in the capital.
It's not.
I still think it's affordable.
Right, it is.
It's still affordable, more affordable than
For
the U.S.
sure. I was actually surprised when we moved here, when I saw the prices for rentals, even to buy properties.
Right.
I was very surprised.
Is it something here that made your life actually better? The nanny?
That, and I have mixed emotions with that. Not anything bad,
Right.
but I like being present
Right.
when it comes to my kids.
Gotcha.
And,
Understandable.
you know, but I would say it's just waking up and being able to have coffee on the balcony every single day and having that moment. I think overall, it helps me mentally, how I feel, especially as a mom of 3, where from the moment I wake up, you know, people need me. So just having that moment, because when I go visit in New York, I don't have a balcony. And I'm like, oh man, like I even stop drinking coffee when I'm there because it's an experience in itself, you know?
Right.
So overall, I feel better here mentally, honestly.
So you are raising 3 daughters here.
Yes,
Solo parenting without your husband.
yes.
What's that experience like?
It's very, very difficult. It's harder than I ever imagined, but again, that's also something I never saw myself doing. But like I mentioned before, I'm not scared to do things, and I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to get the outcome that I envision and the goals that I have. I'm gonna do what I have to do. So it's difficult, but I also think it teaches my daughters that they can do whatever. It doesn't matter the circumstances. If you set your mind to it, you can do it. You may lose it every now and then, because I'm also I don't portray to be the perfect mom with them either. Like, I like them to see me lose it. I like them to see that I've had it. So they don't walk into motherhood thinking it's not normal, because it is.
Right. So your kids are in school, correct?
Right.
Are they in public or private school?
Private.
Private school. How did you go about choosing a school?
Education is important to me. I think I need to say this first, but it's not everything. To me, it's more important the way a child can adapt, the way they can hold a conversation, and them feeling comfortable in general, right? So they're in school because they have to be, not because that's a priority for me.
Right.
At first, I wanted her to go, like, my oldest one, right? When we moved here, I wanted her to go to a well-known school, English, they offer all these things. But then as time passed here, I noticed I didn't want her around certain kids. So she went to a school that I would say is like a middle class school, right? Which was great. I loved it. But academically, the focus wasn't 100% there. It was more about all these other events that they did. And I saw it as a way for the school to make more money because the parents had to pay for all these events to happen every month. So last year, when we moved from where we lived, I had to find a new school that was closer. And I decided that I was gonna try something different, and it worked out. It worked out. We pay about half of what I used to pay at the other school. But the progress that she has had academically, it's a big difference. I can see it. Even if I pay for tutoring and all of that, I always sit with my kids so I can see where they're at, what help they need, and I can see the difference.
Yeah. Did you have any concerns when you first started to put your kids in school here?
No, because my daughter had never been in school in the States. This is her first time going into a school in general.
Okay.
And the only thing was, when we did move here, I didn't want her to go into a really big school. So I put her in a smaller school, which was more expensive than the bigger schools, which was crazy too.
Oh, wow. So you see any difference in education here versus in the U.S.?
I would say that there's a big focus in teaching kids I like the fact that they teach them a lot about being aware of other people, even their own emotions.
Right.
Like they have a class that focuses on that. And in all 3 schools that my daughter has been in, they offer this class. So that's one of the big differences that I've been able to notice, as well as they put them to do presentations at a really young age that at first I'm like, what do you mean my 4 or 5-year-old is having has to present a project? But it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
Once I started thinking about it, I said, wow, like they grow up and they're not scared to speak in front of people.
Right.
It builds confidence. So that was a plus for me.
Well, any parents watching this, what do you think they can expect from an education here based on the school that your daughter's in?
I would say there's high expectations on the kids. They expect their kids to be reading at 5 years old.
Oh,
but
wow.
It's also because kids here start school very early on.
Oh, really?
Most schools take them about 2 to 3 years old. Even if it's a separate program, they do take them as long as they can go to the bathroom by themselves. By the time they're 5 years old, they expect them to know how to read.
Oh, wow.
Like I have one that just turned 6 this weekend, and by December, she was already expected to know how to read. But because I didn't put my kids in school, I didn't follow that.
Right.
I didn't have them in school at 2 and 3 years old. I had to pay for a private tutor. And in order for them to take my 2 younger daughters into the school, I also had to put them in tutoring with one of their teachers last year. That was the only way that they would take my daughters, and it was part of the contract.
Okay. Oh, wow. So you think your kids are getting a better or worse education here?
I would say definitely better. And I also love that they're out of school by like 1 p.m.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's realistic to have kids from 8 a.m. to 3 or 4 p.m. in a school setting.
Right.
I don't think that's realistic or has a positive effect.
Right. You know, when I was coming over here and I was getting in the elevator, when I got to the bottom floor, the lady was coming in, our neighbor was coming in with their kids. It's 1 o'clock.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and I was looking, I looked out like, it's 1 o'clock. And they were coming back home from school. All right, yeah. So you're raising them here in Santo Domingo, a city where most people say that it's dangerous, that this is not a good place to raise kids. They always want to run to Punta Cana and Cabarete and La Terrenas. What do you say about what do you think about raising kids here in Santo Domingo? Because I personally think Santo Domingo is fine.
I think it's safe, but there's a park across the street from my house, right? Kids go there all the time by themselves, 7 and 8 years old, and I've never seen anything happen to any of them.
Right.
I've never seen them in danger because of the surrounding. So I think it's pretty safe. I walk a lot. That's the New Yorker in me. A lot of Dominicans don't walk here.
Right.
I walk. I have my phone. I'm talking on the phone. I've never had an experience where I thought I was going to get robbed. I've walked around with, purses that have the designer name on it. And I've never felt that anything was going to happen to me. So I think it's pretty safe, and I recommend it.
Right. I think people over-exaggerate it.
Right, because that comes from what they see on the news.
Right.
But if you focus where things are happening, you will also notice.
Right.
It's sad, but it's expected because, one, there's not a lot of police patrolling in those areas. That also influences, because where I live, I see them patrolling all times of the day. So somebody that's going to do something, they know the area where they're going to do it. Right. Because they know if I do something here, there could be a patrol truck around the corner.
Right. Absolutely.
So they're not going to risk it.
Right. When I look at your content, I saw a video where you were saying how you were being overwhelmed about all, raising your daughters and all the responsibilities that come with it. Where do you get that strength to just keep on pushing through? Because when I see those videos, man, sometimes I can't even make it all the way through because it tires me out. Right. When you wake up in the morning.
It's all go. I always say it feels like I'm getting ready to run a marathon. It comes again from my mother. It all comes from her, honestly, because I saw her overextend herself, but everyone, not just her kids. If I'm going to overextend myself, it's going to be for my kids, right? I know that everything I do for them is gonna come back tenfold when it comes to my personal life and the goals I have for me, because I can't show up for everything else, right, and give it my all and overextend myself. And then when it comes to my kids, they get the last of it. So I need them to grow up and understand that it doesn't matter the age. I'm always gonna be there. I'm always gonna show up. And again, it comes from my mom, but I don't really show that on my videos, but I always make time for myself. I make time to go out with my friends. I make time to go to the gym every day. My coffee is non-negotiable on the balcony. It's moments like that help me keep going. So I didn't see my mother do that. I didn't see her take care of herself.
Yeah.
So I do show up for them, but I really take care of myself first. And I also let it be known, I can't deal with y'all right now. I'm overstimulated. I need a moment. So yeah, I take care of myself.
So what do you think about raising kids in Dominican Republic? Do you think people should understand? I would say for me, I think that Dominican kids are more social.
They are.
My daughter always has something going on with her friends. I mean, she's never at the house. She's always out doing something. In the States, I just don't see that.
But I think that's also a result of the lifestyle here, where when there's a holiday, you see people take it serious.
Well, you know? Oh, yeah.
Even the businesses. We stood without water. On Good Friday because the colmados were closed. So I think the kids here also grow up seeing that and the importance of, no, we need a break. We need to go hang out with our friends, our family. So I definitely agree with that. And I think that they also automatically more independent.
Yeah, that's true too.
Like, even in my house, yes, we have help, but I tell their nanny, you don't clean up after them. They need to do everything so that they can be independent, but it also goes back to the going out and all that. I definitely agree. There's always an activity, even in the schools. Even the schools. I complained when she was in the other school because it was just too much,
Too many activities.
But it's also great for that same reason.
You complained because there were too many activities. Did you have to pay for it?
All of them.
All of
them. It was never a free activity.
So if there was a mother watching this and they were scared to move to Dominican Republic with kids, what would you tell them?
Just do it, because your kids will adapt faster than you can. It can be difficult for some kids, but if you worry too much about how they're going to adapt, then you take away the lesson of teaching them to take a leap of faith and doing things that make them uncomfortable in order to reach certain goals. Because that's what I told my oldest daughter when she was having a moment.
Okay. That's good advice. So you mentioned after 2 years of moving here, you had an incident where you lost your hair?
I did.
And what was that experience like? I mean, you got a lot of hair to me.
Now I do. But we had a situation that affected everything in our family dynamic. The stress led me to losing all of my hair. And I remember at the time, I couldn't afford to be buying hair products, because everything in my life was affected, even financially. So I called my mom and I was like, listen, my hair's falling out. And I called her crying, because I grew up in a salon. Hair is important. So I called her crying and I'm like, I have a bald spot. And she gave me a recipe that she had. I made it, I started putting it in my hair, and people noticed, like in my stories when I would post videos, like, oh, how did you grow your hair back? You know, like we didn't want to say anything before, but we can see the difference.
How did losing your hair affect your confidence?
I mean, I didn't want to go out.
How much of it was lost?
It was a lot. Like it would be chunks at a time.
It would just come out?
When I would wash my hair and I would comb it, like chunks. It was a lot of hair.
You had a bald spot?
In the front, like.
You got pictures?
I do.
Hey, we may post some of them pictures. Yeah, so it affected your I'm sure it did.
It definitely did.
I mean, I'm a guy. If I had a bald spot, it affected my
It
confidence.
affected my confidence, but again, when you know who you are at the core, when you know what you have to offer, like it was very like vanity, you know? It was like, oh, I can't part my hair this way because then you can see it.
Right.
But it didn't stop me overall from being who I am and doing the things I had to do.
Gotcha.
But it did make me feel, I was sad about it.
So you mentioned that your mom gave you this recipe for a serum. What made you decide to turn that into a business?
People started asking me about it, right? And I would just say, oh, it's not for sale. Because it wasn't.
Right.
And I remember I told my mom about it, and I also needed money because I had to pay for my daughter's tuition. And she's like, why don't you sell it? And then I'm like, I can't sell it because it was gonna add more stress, right? And that I was trying to reduce the stress in my life. And I'm very particular if I'm gonna sell something. So then I'm like, I have to get somebody to make a logo. I have to invest in. So I started like overthinking it. And then before I went to sleep that night, I was like, God, like just send me a sign if I should be selling this, because I never wanted anything that had to do with beauty, hair salon, any of that. And I had a dream, and basically all the details, the color of the bottle and everything was there. And I said, you know what, let me look up pink bottles. I found some. It was a reasonable price. I created the logo myself, something that I've never had done. And the first day that I put that it was up for sale, I sold 20 bottles. And I also sold them for $50, which my mother wanted to kill me because she's like, oh, it needs to be accessible to people. Like, I'm like, I have a brand already. And if I'm gonna sell this, it needs to be, like, I need to maintain that clientele.
Right.
And whoever wants to buy it is gonna buy it, and we're not here for everyone.
Right.
You know?
Right. It's premium.
Right.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a hair serum out there in the market.
Right.
What makes yours unique and different?
I would say that it's my mother's recipe, and when women use it, I can see the difference in their confidence when they send me the before and after. Like the before photo, I feel like I can always see some sadness. And then once they send me the after, like you can see the confidence boost. And I can just see it, even the way, if they send a video, the way they moving, the way they look into the camera. So it's more than just selling a hair product that's gonna help you have healthier hair. It really does changes how you feel. But of course, you have to be consistent.
I was going to ask you that. So how long does it, it probably varies depending on the person.
Right.
So, but how long does it actually take for your hair to start growing back?
Most of the people who use it consistently, they start to see results within 4 to 6 weeks. That's when they start to see a big difference. But like anyone who's experiencing hair loss has to look into what's actually causing it, because sometimes it can be internal. And while your hair is growing, while you're using the serum, it may continue to fall out.
Right. Stress can cause your hair to fall out.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. Does it work for men?
Yes, I have had men use it and it works.
How does somebody order this or purchase this if they want some of this hair salon?
We do have a website. You can find it at roseaurahair.com. You can also find us on Instagram and write to me through there. I do like when people write to me on Instagram and then make the purchase online because they get to tell me how long they've been experiencing hair loss, and sometimes they know exactly what causes it. So it creates a more personal experience because then I'm also able to circle back and check in on you, how you're doing. And if you're not being consistent, me just sending you a message to check in, I'll remind you. So I always like when people write to me on Instagram.
Okay. And is it just for hair growth or is it just for like hair maintenance as well?
You can also use it if you want to maintain the health of your scalp.
Right.
It is important to use some type of product that helps, that when you apply, you massage your scalp, because that helps the circulation and your overall health.
So you're an event planner.
Yeah.
You got your hair serum, and you also do floral design. Where does all this creativity come from?
I think I was always creative. I remember when I was in middle school, my art teacher, she pointed out the way that I would combine colors. I was always coloring, drawing something, or just doing stripes with different colors. And I also think that was a way for me to possibly escape everyday life, even as a kid. And it just made me feel like myself. Like it was something that came very naturally to me. I didn't need anything from anyone to feel good doing it.
If someone wanted to contact you for like event planning or floor design, how would they do that too? Because that's going to be different from the hair line.
Right. For that, they can contact me through WhatsApp, which is 929-383-8844. That's the easiest way to contact me, or you can email me at kyriecastroevents@gmail.com.
So how do you balance, your personal life, being a mom, and with your businesses?
My kids have a very strict bedtime, which is non-negotiable for that reason. So they're in bed by 6 p.m. so that they're asleep by 7. And that's usually when I sit with myself and I handle my business. If I want to go out with my friends, I go out at night. And I also count a lot on my nanny.
Okay. Okay.
Like without her, I wouldn't be able to do a lot of things.
I messed up on that piece, like the strict bedtime. I messed up on that.
Really?
I didn't start early, man. My daughter doesn't have a bed. Well, she has a bedtime 10 o'clock, but it's not strict. I messed up on that part.
It's not negotiable.
Yeah.
Like it's bedtime. They be like, the sun is out. I
What
know.
time?
6 p.m.
Your kids go to bed at 6 p.m.?
I lay them down at 6, and by 7:30, they're asleep.
Oh, wow. Man, there's no way I could put my daughter to bed at 6.
I mean, but she's older now.
Right.
And obviously, as they get older, things are going to change a little bit. But right now, 6 p.m.
So I saw where you recently started back posting content more regularly about your day-to-day life. What made you decide to do that?
One, because even before people would see my Instagram, people are always like, are you an influencer? And even when I go to restaurants, the waiters will ask me, and I'm like, no. And I also didn't want to expose too much of my life, because I feel like once you start posting certain things, you do give people the right to comment. But I also see it as people always, moms always ask me, how do you do it? So I said, if I'm going to post anything, it needs to be raw. Like, this is my morning with my kids, There's no blueprint to it. I never know what's going to happen. So if I'm going to post, it has to be something like that, super raw, and just enjoy the moment. You want to see how I do it? This is it.
I mean, I see you making the French toast, man.
Right.
Yeah. French toast looking pretty good over there.
That's a favorite in the house.
I see you make that a lot. I was like, I don't know nobody that makes French toast on a daily basis,
We do. French toast is like, I don't know, I love it, and they do too, so.
Is that type of content intentional, like just showing that part of your life?
Yeah. I mean, I would love to show more of it, but at the same time, my kids are still small, and I don't know how comfortable they truly are with me exposing our entire day.
Right.
The morning seems more reasonable because they're just waking up. They're in a good mood because they sleep 12 hours every night. So they like, okay. At first, it's like, why you recording us?
Oh, that's what it is.
They would ask, and I explained it to them. I'm gonna start posting content to see if we get some deals, then we could do more things. Because the oldest one, she wasn't feeling that.
I like the video where you were talking about the hairstyles. One of them didn't want the hairstyle. She wanted to know why. She could. All right, so somebody knocked over our camera, so we had the position may have shifted. Just trying to bring me this coffee. He was just in such a hurry to bring me this coffee with no sugar and no creamer.
Now, you see, that's crazy.
That he knocked over our camera. So, but I was saying that I watched one of your videos where you were saying, like, one of your daughters was wanting her hairstyle like the other one, and the other one's like, why she gotta have my hairstyle? I thought that was funny. It's
funny. After, when I'm rewatching the videos and doing the voiceover, it's funny. But in the moment, I'd be pissed off. Like, why are y'all fighting over a hairstyle?
Right.
You know, like you go to school and probably 5 other little girls are gonna have the same hairstyle anyway.
So how would you describe your content and what kind of direction you want to take it?
I would say family style. A lot of also, I like to show whenever I do a DIY something, like it was my daughter's birthday and I posted a video how I made these stitches for the kids to paint. I would say family friendly, especially for moms. Like I want them to feel identified, and when they're having a tough morning and they go on Instagram and they see my video of my tough morning, like, all right, I'm not the only one, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And also fashion here and there, because I do love fashion.
So what do you want people to take away from it when they watch it?
Motherhood isn't perfect.
Right.
You aren't, there's, like I said, there's no blueprint. You can be killing it one day, but the next day you're not. And like I said in one of my videos, if you gotta cry, you're gonna cry a little bit, but then if going to the gym is gonna make you feel better, do that. Going to the salon is gonna make you feel better afterwards, then do it. Mm-hmm. Because being a mom is a lot of work and nobody's gonna come save you, okay? Your parents could help you, your siblings, your husband, everyone, but it's still a lot of work, so do what you gotta do for yourself.
So let's shift over toward the diaspora. Mm-hmm. What do you think of Dominicans in the diaspora romanticize about Dominican Republic? Is there anything they romanticize about it?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't think they really do, because it's always like, in DR, te atracan. That's what I heard a lot growing up. And for me, I feel like I've had such a different experience. You know, my parents left from here to the States to give us a better life, and I did the opposite.
Right.
I came from the States here, which they thought was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they romanticize the negative about New York. The experience I had with Dominicans who contact me or who I have conversation with, they only express the negative things about it.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Right. To me, they romanticize the negativity than actually to be able to see what the country has to
And
offer.
a lot of people, I feel like deep down, they would love to come back and live here, but they don't see it to be something that's possible because they left searching for a better life.
Right.
So coming back may seem like taking a step back.
I hear that all the time.
And I don't see it that way.
Right.
I see it as, if you come with an open heart and an open mind, you can see that it's a beautiful place to live. Even if you don't have kids,
right,
and you have the opportunity to come and live here, I highly recommend it. I wish I would have came sooner.
Me too.
And this is someone who didn't even want to make the move.
Right.
But I wholeheartedly wished I had came before I had kids or when I just had my first daughter. And I was born and raised over there. I never saw myself leaving, ever.
You're a true New Yorker.
For sure. I still love New York, but, you know, I've grown to love Santo Domingo a lot.
You know what? I think you and I are probably the only people that like Santo Domingo.
Right.
I love Santo Domingo.
Me too.
I love it. Well, Jazzy loves it too.
Right.
Yeah, Jazzy loves it too. Yeah, I love Santo Domingo.
I love it, and I think it makes life feel, you know, a little easier. Like it feels like, there's always something going on. I always got things to do, my everyday responsibilities, but it feels good doing it here. I love going food shopping.
Yeah,
you
me
know,
too.
I don't know why. I can't really explain it, but I love going food shopping. Like I get dressed up to go food shopping.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm going after this.
You know, like it's a great experience, I think.
So what do you think people here don't fully understand about life in the U.S.?
There's not so much money over there, how people think. Like, it's like, why are you gonna come live here? People ask me all the time. I'm like, why not?
Right.
Over there, you gotta work very hard, the same way you would have to work here to make money. And if you go over there and you're not legal, you're gonna struggle more than you do here.
Right, right. That's a fact.
You know?
I don't know why some people, not just Dominicans, even, you know, other foreigners who go over there and they're not legal, they think that it's going to be easier. Actually, it's going to be hard.
I believe so.
And even Dominicans who go over there legal, if you're a lawyer here or engineer or whatever you are, you're still starting at day one over there. You're not going to be that when you get there.
Exactly.
You're gonna,
and sorry to interrupt
go
you,
ahead.
but I do want to point out that as I started the serum, I automatically knew after like the second week that I wanted to develop a whole hair care line. And had I been in the States, it would have been so much more difficult for me to do that.
So you started that here?
Yes.
Okay.
I started that here, and we're launching the shampoo, conditioner, and more products soon. But that was possible because of connections that I made here
Right.
that I wouldn't have made in the States.
Right.
And if I did, it would have cost me.
I agree. I made more connections here than I made in the States. And I was talking to, I can't remember who I was talking to, but I was talking to somebody when I was saying that Dominicans will pool together $20,000 to send somebody over to the United States when they can take that $20,000 right here
And invest.
and invest it.
Absolutely.
But they think that the ice is colder over in the United States. And I'm gonna be honest, I'll be fair. Back in the day, that was possible. You can go to the United States, you can work a regular manufacturing job, and you could save, you could live and send money back. In the Dominicans case, in the American case, you could work and save. Dominicans or foreigners, a case, they can work and send back home. That doesn't exist anymore.
No, it's
It all goes to
difficult right now.
Life is difficult. The cost of living, inflation, everything is different. So if you think that you're gonna go over there, you're gonna work and save or work and send back, that's not gonna happen.
Exactly.
I mean, it can, but chances are that's not gonna happen.
Right.
What do Dominicans in the U.S. misunderstand about living here?
That you can't live safe. Because I know people that even when they come here, they're going into gated communities and they live in fear.
Yeah.
You know? Like my grandmother, when we would get here, she'd be like, give me all your jewelry, give me the passport, give me this. Like, and unconsciously, I would be scared sometimes. Like, oh, I can't wear this, I can't wear that. And I don't like feeling limited, so what do you mean?
Yeah. She projected it.
Right. But it's not, I don't think it's true.
It's not like that. It's not like that.
And we're not saying that it doesn't happen. Right? Don't take it out of context. But it's not how people portray it to be.
Right. They make it look like it's a war zone over here. And it's just
I mean, in New York, you could get on the train and anybody could try to rob you.
Right.
Look, all the things that happen, it's the same thing any place in the world.
Do you think it's harder to move from the U.S. to the Dominican Republic or from the Dominican Republic to the U.S.? I'll tell you my answer, but you can go ahead.
I'm gonna be honest. This is the first time I ever moved, right? Outside of New York. So to me, it was very difficult. And I think that whenever you make a decision to move to a country that you truly don't know, you've never lived there, it's going to be difficult. I don't think it's harder from one place to the other. I will also say I probably had advantages, right? Because one, I wasn't doing it by myself. I'm counting with my husband. So I didn't have to worry about a lot of things because he was handling that. So I feel like my experience is a little privileged, you know?
I agree. I agree that both are hard.
Right.
But I think one is harder than the other.
Which one?
And I would say moving from here to there is harder. As a Dominican moving from here to the States, I believe it's harder for them than an American moving here. And the reason why I say that is because, and it's just my opinion, is that it's less structure here. And if you go to the States, it's so much structure that to me, it can be an inconvenience. Where when I moved here, it's like, yeah, it's a little lax, and it's like, oh, I can do that, or I can drink a beer at the Kamado or outside, or that's fine. Oh, I can walk around with a cup, or you know what I'm saying, that type of thing. Or I could drive outside the lines every now and then.
You see, when I moved here, though, I had an issue with how relaxed people were in businesses, and even people being on time.
Right.
I'm like, people don't respect your time.
Right.
And then my husband had to he would tell me, you go into a business, how much are these people getting paid? They can't even cover their monthly finances. Wow. So you can't expect them to be all jolly when a customer walks in. So I had a hard time adjusting to that. I think it's too relaxed here. So coming from the structure to this, I'm like...
But I think it's easier. Well, I guess in that aspect, I agree with you, because I think it's different aspects, because you're right. If you're coming from here to the United States and it's customer service, it's easier to adapt to that because it's like, okay, this is good.
Right.
But then when coming here is different. But when it comes to like rules and things, I think it's easier for me to come here than a
Right.
Dominican go there.
For sure.
Yeah, because when it comes to, like you say,
Yeah,
you're not going to walk out of store over there with an open container. You're not going to do it. But I'll say one thing where you just said, I don't buy the fact that just because you're paid less determines your attitude.
No, I don't agree with that either, but it did help me be a little bit more understanding.
Okay.
Because I have asked people, is everything okay when I go into a business? And they're like, why? I'm like, because you're treating me like I did something to you. When I walked in here, I greeted you, you didn't greet me.
Right.
The New Yorker in me comes out when it comes to the customer service, because at 16, I worked at Gap, right?
Right.
And I would go in there, it didn't matter the mood I was feeling, I understood I had to leave that out the door, and I had to take care of these customers, right? Because that's what I was getting paid for. So I can understand that. I don't justify it, but I try to be a little more relaxed, I guess, about it.
Right. I'll say this, because yesterday I went and got my car washed, and I was sitting out on the terrace, and the guy came out, he didn't say anything to me the whole time. It was other people out there on the terrace. He served them water and whatever he did, but he never said anything to me. So I just sat there. I didn't really want to drink anything anyway.
Right.
I was good. But when I left, I made sure to tell him. I said, man, you didn't ask me anything. Oh, no. One day he told me he was thinking about something else and this and that. But that's the type of customer service that wouldn't happen in the United States. Nobody's going to forget that you're sitting over there. And even if I was there for an hour and a half. Even if you forgot the first 30 minutes, you seen me sitting there, you were like, okay, I never asked this guy anything.
Right.
But I didn't get mad because I'm in Dominican Republic.
I used to get angry at the beginning. I was angry. Because it's like, I'm paying money to come in here and I need to greet you. I need to make you comfortable to take care of me.
Right.
Like, I didn't understand that, but you adapt, you know?
Right, you adapt. If someone from the diaspora was looking to move back here, what are some things that they shouldn't underestimate?
How difficult it can be to legalize like certain documents. I would say to come prepared in the sense, if you could go to the Consulado Dominicano, you know, in the state that you're in over there and handle certain things, I would say get a head start there. Because here, again, everything is so relaxed. It may take longer than it needs to.
Right. But doesn't that teach you to like have patience though? Like to kind of slow down? Don't you think we too in a rush in the United States?
We are. And I've learned to, you know, like relax, right?
And it feels better. To me, it feels better.
Right, but when you just moving somewhere and you need certain documents, you know, like having to wait because somebody is in Punta Cana in a resort and they're the only one who could stamp it versus you handling it.
Right. Yeah, that's the kind of effery that goes on here. Yeah.
And depending where you move, your light bill may be a little bit more than the States.
Right.
So don't underestimate that, because that was shocking to me.
Right.
My first few months here, I would look at my light bill, I would be like, dang.
Were you running your AC?
Yeah, but it didn't make sense because it's about where you live, I learned.
That's part of it.
Because where I moved now, my light is cheaper.
Right.
And I have the same appliances, you know? So
you have to declare your appliance. When you sign up at the for your electricity, your utility, they ask you what's in your house. Stove, how many ACs
and you
got?
better lie.
Yeah.
You better say you don't have TVs, nothing. You better lie, because
we said one AC.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah,
see, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So when I went the first time, I'm there checking, check. And the girl's looking at me like, and that's when I got it. I was like, okay, I
She
stopped.
from New York.
But it was like almost I had to give like a $300 deposit, $275.
Really?
But when I first moved.
Wow.
So my light was ranging about that, independently whether I was consuming it or not.
Like 300? Yeah.
Se me peso, like it was.
Yeah, the first 2 months, that's what ours was like 200-300. And we like, but we're not using it.
Right.
Well, the first month we moved in the middle of the month. And so the bill was like $200-300. He's like, how?
It don't make sense.
It's like, well, the last person that was here, that's what their bill was. It's like, what they got to do? What they got to do?
And you got to learn the tricks.
Right. It's wild. So what are some of the things you had to unlearn in terms of U.S. mindset to live here?
Nobody's on time. Nobody's on time. And I'm someone who believes to be early is to be on time, and to be on time is to be late. I learned that, and I applied it to my life. I was 15 years old when I learned that, so coming here, I would get very upset when people were late, because I'm not talking about 10, 15 minutes. Like, people would tell you 2 p.m. and show up at 3:30, like it's nothing, because it's normal here. So that was difficult for me.
Right. I wouldn't tell anybody not to carry that same trait, but I wouldn't hold on it to dear life here. You know what I'm saying? Because people don't honor it. Now, you want to kind of figure out what situation it is. If it's a business thing, like you have to go to a business meeting, of course. But if someone say, hey, be over here for my stove getting fixed, they're not going to be here at that time.
Right. But you know, I don't know, because they had to come fix something in my apartment, and they said 3 p.m. and he got there at 4:30. I was like, I can't open the door because I got something to do at 4:45. I'm leaving.
Right.
And you're not gonna be finished, so you got to come back another time.
Right.
And whatever time you tell me, you should show up around that time, because I got things to do too. So he learned. The following day, he told me 10 a.m. and I was like, I'm here until 11. So if you're not here at 10, 9:55, he was calling me. And I'm sorry, it's just, you need to respect other people's time. Right. And even with my nanny, because I had an issue with that with other nannies. So when I hired her, I told her, if you cannot be on time, then this isn't the job for you, because it's not going to work out. And that would be a reason for me to fire you, because I depend on you. So if I tell my friends, right, we're going to meet up for lunch, and it can seem like, oh, you're just meeting your friends for lunch. I tell them at noon, but she's late, and now I'm late by an hour. I'm not taking into consideration those people that are waiting for me in a restaurant, their time, and what they may have to do later on in the day. Right. So it can seem very superficial, but it's not. I really value people's time, and I respect it, and I also respect my time, because I'm a mom of 3 again, right? So my time is limited. Right.
I wish I would have knew that I was late today.
No, but you know, like 10, 15 minutes, I don't think that's like late, especially here, because traffic is very unpredictable. But when you're 45 minutes late, an hour and a half, and you don't even call me to tell me, no. Because they don't call you either.
No, they're not going to call you.
Nobody's calling you to let you know they're running late. You just got to deal with it.
You got to deal with it. What part of Dominican culture that you appreciate now that you didn't fully appreciate before?
I would say the way that like everyone takes serious holidays. I really didn't. I could care less if it was a holiday before. Right. But now I appreciate that, because it teaches even me, someone who's always on the go, to just slow down and enjoy the moment, whether it be with my family or make plans with friends, because that's important. Our day, we all get stuck with our day-to-day life, and we sometimes say, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. But when you see even all the businesses are closing, you're like, chill. Right. I like that, and I appreciate that.
Why do you think Dominican Republic get a bad rap?
Because of the same Dominicans that leave and talk the way that they do. Right. Because if you look into, if you look into the country economically, if you look at the amount of tourists that come here, if you look at the school systems and even the gradings of the schools, is not bad. Right. So it doesn't make sense the way that people talk about the Dominican Republic. I've had people tell me, oh, you moved to a third world country. And I'm like, if that's what you believe, I'm really not going to argue with anyone who believes that. Right. Cool. Come and experience it yourself. Right. But don't tell me that you're going to a campo, which is nothing wrong with that, because I appreciate that part of the art as well. And it's needed, right? Because we get a lot of the food from the campos that we eat here in the city. But that's not all Dominican Republic is. Right. And even I was surprised when I would see all these cars. I'm like, You don't even see that in the city over there. Like, the amount of
luxury cars.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, on any given day, that's a little impressive because also I'm coming and everything I would hear about the Dominican Republic and the way people spoke about it is very different when you get to experience and actually live here.
Right.
Not just come for a few days.
You have to live here. That's what I tell people. You have to live here. You know, I noticed that Dominicans who are more Dominican American versus the Dominicans here have a totally different perspective on the country.
But also, if you notice, people who are financially well here, they may go and like to college outside of the Dominican Republic, but they come back.
Oh, they come back.
They don't stay in the States.
No.
So I say that also that speaks a lot.
Right. Right.
Like in any place, if you are well off financially, you're not gonna leave, right?
Right.
And a lot of people don't leave.
Right.
And even people who don't have it all
Right.
financially, they're like, I'm not leaving.
Right.
If I'm gonna go through whatever, let it be here on this island.
Right. That's a big misconception that every Dominican just wants to leave.
Right.
And when you think about the ones that want to leave, they're in a really tough financial situation.
Yep.
But if you go to any one of these, I mean, just average Dominicans, I mean, they could just be making enough money just to not barely getting by, but just enough to get by. They're not going to go anywhere.
No. And I learned that after I moved here because I really thought everybody wanted to leave.
Right.
Because that's what I knew as well. But that's not true.
That's not true.
And a lot of people come here as well from different countries. I'm surprised at how many Colombians, people from Argentina I've met here, and they love it. They've been here for 15 years, and they made a life for themselves.
Yep, that's another thing that other immigrants from other countries come here and make a life for themselves. Then you have Dominicans that are leaving here to go to the States. If another immigrant sees opportunity here that they don't even see here.
Right, and in my kids' school, there's even Indians, you know, like, and I was surprised when I saw that. I was like, oh, like it's from all over the world that people are coming here. And I was surprised, but I understand it.
Right. When you look at your journey so far, what version of yourself are you most proud of?
I would say who I am right now, because I've been able to surpass a lot of things that I didn't think were possible.
One last question. So do you think Dominicans from the diaspora should come back to DR?
They should, and I think they deserve to come back. I think that they deserve to live the relaxed life that we get to live here after so many years of working really hard, because that's one thing. A lot of Dominicans leave from here, but they work really hard to build houses here that a lot of times they don't get to enjoy. And I think that's something that needs to change. Yeah, you can leave, you can stack your money, you can invest, but come back and enjoy it. If you leave a country and you leave everything behind, I think that at some point, even for your personal journey, it's important to come back.
Right. So
to appreciate everything that, you know.
So I got to go back to the States?
I don't know, but even myself, like, I like going to New York, right? I like going, and it makes me understand my decision even better of coming here. It seems worth it when I look at it from when I'm not here and I start to think about everything. It's worth it.
Another Dominican from the diaspora and her story as a Dominican who grew up in the United States, who decided to come here, wasn't in her plans, and now she's here solo parenting with 3 kids. So listen, you don't have any more excuses.
No.
Because if she can do it, you can do it.
Right.
So how could they contact you if they want to contact you?
I would say the best way is on Instagram, Kyrie Castro. If you look me up, you will find me, and you can ask me anything on there. I'm very honest. I don't sugarcoat anything.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll put her contact here on the screen, guys. So until then, remember, always keep your goals at the forefront of your mind. Always live in the present, because that's the only way you're going to live your best life. We out. Peace.
Bye.
Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Something you and me, oh. Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Jumping, flexing, I know.